doing here is I'll just repeat it for you in a minute. That total 12 sessions are there, okay, and you have four courses or four different subjects in MPS. I believe all of you are aware of your subject code also, like MPS 1, 2, 3, right? So likewise, it will go on. Every subject will have three sessions, okay, like the way today we are having. Today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, these three sessions will be dedicated for this subject called as MPS 1. Okay. So likewise, again, in upcoming next three sessions, we will be dealing with MPS 2. So this in this manner, we will proceed ahead. All right. Now we will come to the subject point. First, the point which we are going to discuss today is about a overview of the subject called as political theory. Okay, the first book which you have is titled Political Theory, and we will try to understand what exactly do we mean by political theory. Uh, I'm aware that few students are from political science background, but few students are also there who did not have political science in their bachelors. So all are from different backgrounds, different I can say criteria is there for everyone. So we will try to accommodate everyone. Okay, and that is the reason due to which we always begin with the basic, so that it will not skip, and everyone will be included in the session. That is the purpose of this discussion. So, in order to understand political theory, we have to understand the subject called political science, under which we study all this political theory, comparative politics, public administration, international relations, public policy, and so on. This all falls under one major discipline called as political science. Okay. Of course, due to, we can say, the dichotomy between political science and public administration, later on it is separated. But again, still we have the we can say relevance to a large extent. So, political science is all about what? It is all about understanding the idea of state and the government. Okay. Whatever is there in the government, we study that. Whatever influences us, we study that. Initially, when we begin with the state, okay, when various philosophers, various thinkers contributed through their different texts and works to the discipline of political science, what they tried to do is they tried to give us a best form of the government. Okay, uh, you can take the Plato's Republic. Republic is a famous book which is written by Plato. Any problem is there? Is it not audible?
Sir, it is audible.
Audible, no? Huh? Fine. I think just someone spoke, so I was wondering. Okay, fine. Huh, we will come to the point. Yes. So what all these philosophers or thinkers did in political science, they just tried to, you know, give an idea of the best form of government which we can ever have. Okay. So for that reason, everyone gave their different ideas, different theories, and through those theories, they tried to project the idea of government in front of us. I can just give one example, and you will understand that what perspective they were having. Okay, when it comes to development, okay, let's assume development at one side in India and development on the other hand in China. Just for understanding, you can take these two countries, India and China. If I ask this question, that in which country development will be realized soon, so obvious answer will be China. The reason is quite simple, because in China you do not have democracy, right? In China, what you have is authoritarian government called as one party government, right? Only one communist party controls the government in China. So therefore, whatever policy they makes, it continues for decades and even centuries, we can say, because only one government is there, only one political party is there. If only one party is there, so definitely whatever decision they have taken, they will continue throughout the journey. However, this may not be true with democracy. Okay, in democracy there is higher possibility, and sometimes it happens also that after every 5 year elections, when we see or witness change in the government, let's assume that we all know that few years back we had different governments in the center, and today we have altogether different government in power. Again, after few years, we never know when, but in future, again this government will also be changed, right? So what happens over here is that when you don't agree with any policy, or when you don't agree with any idea of the previous government, you tend to change it. Okay, that happens over here. For instance, let's take this example of Barack Obama and Donald Trump. Okay, because they did the same thing, and therefore it is relevant to you. When Barack Obama was president of United States, he signed something called Paris Agreement, Paris Climate, Agreement. When there was debate which was going on around the climate change and the global warming.
Warming.
Yes, correct. So we all know that global warming was a serious problem, and even today it is a serious problem for many countries. It might not be that serious for India or any other big country, but definitely it is extremely serious for small island countries. Okay, for instance, Japan. Okay, or Mauritius. You can take these small countries and you will understand. Because eventually, what will happen if the global warming continues? Okay, and if continues, so definitely those glaciers will start melting down quickly, faster, right? And if those, let's assume that those glaciers are melting rapidly, eventually the sea level water will increase. And if the sea level water increases, you cannot stop it. You cannot just simply build the walls, concrete walls, and stop the water. It is impracticable as of now. Whenever in future it may happen, then we may see that. But the thing is that for small countries it is extremely difficult to survive then. Okay, because their island nations, these nations will submerge under the water, right, due to this global warming, climate change. So for these all concerns, United Nations brought one resolution, and even many Western countries, they were prominently taking the lead into it. They all came together and decided to sign one agreement, and that agreement was all about reducing the carbon emission. Okay, you have to reduce the carbon emission, and for reducing that carbon emission, definitely you have to make changes in your policy. Like you cannot have such factories which emit high amount of carbon in the atmosphere, so which looks good, but on the other hand, again, it is not suitable for the you know manufacturers, right? Manufacturers are also voters, right, of the government, and even they are, we can say, uh, donors to various political parties. So definitely, the government or any political party cannot afford to go against such big donors to these parties, because political funding is also something important in democracy, right? So what happened that United States, under the leadership of Barack Obama, he signed Paris Climate Change Agreement, wherein he decided that slowly and steadily American government will take the steps to shut down such kind of, we can say, polluting factories. But Trump came in power after 4 years, right? Because Barack Obama, anyway, he completed his 2 terms, so therefore he could not contest third election. That is the reason Hillary Clinton became the, you can say, presidential candidate from the Democratic Party in United States, and Trump became the presidential candidate from the Republican Party. Okay, so they both fought against each other in the election, and finally Trump won the election during those times. So as soon as he becomes president, he started taking many, we can say, radical decisions and very, we can say, quick decisions also to some extent. And one of them was revoking or withdrawing from this Paris climate change. Okay. From this point of view, we can understand that one president is giving consent for that, and other president is removing that consent. Okay, he is saying that we will not continue with this. We don't believe in that. And Trump openly admitted that there is nothing like climate change. This is just a agenda of China and such countries to stop America, you know, uh, so that America may not be in a position to compete with these countries. Okay, so that was the argument given by him, and eventually it happened. He did not sign. He just revoked that decision. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that when it comes to government, every thinker think in such a way where governments will be stabilized, okay, where the rulers will be mature enough, okay, they are supposed to be wise enough, okay, so that they can take welfareistic decisions, they can make welfareistic policies for the well-being of the citizens. Okay, that is the reason. And whatever philosophers you witness, for example, Plato gave, the idea of philosopher king. You know, he says that the one who is highly knowledgeable, the one who is extremely, powerful in his knowledge, that person should become the king or the ruler of the country, to which he gave the name called as philosopher king. Because according to Plato, he believed that philosophers knows almost everything. Okay, they know science also, they know, commerce also, they know social sciences also, everything, and even they know statecraft also. Statecraft is nothing but skill of running the nation. Okay, so Plato said that king should be a philosopher. And why he should be? Because I told you just now, because he is the most knowledgeable person in that country, and that person deserved to be the king or the ruler of the country. Okay. So you will witness that whatever thinkers we are going to study in future, their common area, their, common center of point will remain, the idea of better state. Okay, how a better state can be built. And for that reason, what happened? Many philosophers gave the idea about how the ideal state should be established. Okay, here the word should be is used. It's all about what ought to be or should be. It should be like that, it should be like that, like this, like that, everything. So, in a way, all these philosophers were trying to give us a idea of ideal state, that how we can have the ideal state. What can be called as the best state or the government. So it was about that. Okay. So they continued this, and since we can say Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, and even Machiavelli, and all those philosophers, whatever you witness in political science, they all tend to concentrate on this point. Now, for that purpose, what they did, of course, we can say discourse or verbal dialogue is required, and apart from that, written communication is also supposed to be there. And all these thinkers have done that. To communicate his idea, Plato wrote a book called The Republic. Aristotle wrote a book called as The Politics. Even Machiavelli wrote a famous book called as The Prince. Right? You can just imagine that these philosophers have written many books, and even those original texts are available even today in Europe. Okay, they have maintained that, in which they all try to give us and convince us that how a better state is required, how a better or the best government is required, for the well-being of the society. Okay, that is the idea of these thinkers and philosophers. Here you must have witnessed that whatever they were saying, it was all about should be, the king should be like this, the ruler should be like that, and all these things. So it was all about futuristic ideas, we can say. What should be done in the future, it's all about should be, ought to be. It was not about what is at present. Okay, nobody was trying to pay attention on that, because they were witnessing that at present we are having very bad atmosphere, we are having very bad government, and to change this we need to have different government. And what kind of government that should be? Again, that should be this way, that should that way, it will be repeated in this same manner. So that was the major concern of various philosophers. However, after the World War, okay, World War One and World War Two, the simple question was asked to the philosophers and to the political scientists of the time during those days in 1950s. We all know that Second World War lasted between 1939 to 1945 for the 6 year. So after the World War was concluded, the question was asked to the political science, or the, you can say, proponents of political science, that why this war happened. Okay, what was the major reason for the war? Explain. And during those times, political experts were unable to answer the questions. Now you may wonder that what's wrong in that, what's a big deal? This country attacked over that, and that country in return attacked over this country, and this way war started. That is the reason. But that's not the political science. That is a history. Okay, that is a history. Political science is something different. Okay, history tells us about the facts. History tells us about the past, that what exactly happened. Okay, but political science gives the idea behind that. If history is telling you that, let's assume World War One happened between this to that period, okay, then political science would say that yes, it happened, and it happened because of these reasons, and we can stop or we can prevent these mistakes in future, so that future problems can be avoided. This is something we call political science. Okay, and therefore it has relevance even today. Fine. So what was happening during those days? These all thinkers who were just concentrating on the ideal state, that what kind of state should be established, and they simply ignored the reality of the time. Okay, the existence or the existing reality of the time. Then to address that, of course, a revolution was required for that. And revolutions are not always, we can say, um, on ground. Sometimes revolutions are also in books. Okay, to which we call ideological revolutions. Okay, where ideas are challenged, where you do not agree with any particular idea, you just challenge it, and it will be changed forever. Okay, and we have witnessed this throughout the time, throughout the history. So what was expected over here? It was expected that political science should concentrate on the reality rather than focusing on what should be done and what should not be done. Then we shifted our journey. We shifted, or we changed our way of studying political science. And then onward, we decided to change the course of action itself. For instance, we were concentrating initially on government. And what is government according to political science and many other people of the time during those days? It was policy making, policy implementation, and adjudication. That is judiciary. You know that. Three branches. We have legislature, executive, and judiciary. Okay, these are the three ideas or three branches of the government, so which we call three pillars of Indian democracy. Okay, so these ideas are there, and whenever it was about to study the government, only these three organs were studied. Okay, and
Excuse me, sir. Sorry to disturb you, sir, but there are many students who are waiting to get admitted in the class. They are not able to get in, sir.
Acha, Sharma sir, can you hear me? Hello, Sharma sir, can you hear me? I think Sharma sir is not able to hear. The thing is that he is the admin. He has created that meeting. He is the regional director, and he can admit those
Oh,
students.
okay.
Uh-huh. How many
I
students
see.
are there?
Okay. 7, 8 students are just right now, I think.
Acha. Actually, I don't have the access to admit them. Otherwise, I would have done that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Uh, yeah. Whenever Sharma sir will watch them, he will allow them to enter in the class. Okay. Chalo, fine. We will continue. What I was talking about is, yes, the journey, how we got changed. Initially, what we were doing is normatively we were concentrating on philosophy and all those things, philosophical ideas. And later on, it was challenged by few political scientists, and one of the prominent name in that category was David Easton. Okay, David Easton was a prominent of this revolution. I told you, no, just now, ideological revolutions. Okay, Charles Merriam, one of the professor in Chicago University, he led that revolution, and David Easton played a very crucial role in that revolution. And that revolution was all about changing the discourse of political science. Okay, and then actually we led something called as, or this revolution which we were talking about, this revolution was came to be known as behavioral revolution. Okay, I think many of you must have heard this word before also. It is called behavioral revolution. I'll tell you about this. Behavioral revolution is something where all these modern political scientists, they decided to change the way of studying political science. They gave their different ideas, different thoughts, and they started openly speaking about the wrongdoings in political science, or we can say wrong actions which we were taking initially. And what were those actions? Like concentrating only on the government, right? Because they believe that political science deals with only with the government, so we should study only that. That was the idea, but that was wrong. Okay, these new modern scientists, they proved them wrong. How they did? They clearly said that let's assume if you are discussing or studying legislature, because they make policies, right? So if you are studying them because they make policy, they are creating policies or rules for the country, yes, that is good enough, you should study them. But is it sufficient to do so? That was a major question, and the answer is no, that is not adequate enough. Of course, you should study the government, you should study legislature, executive, and judiciary, but apart from that, you have to study the society also. And society, when it comes to society, you have to understand the behavior of the people. Okay, you have to analyze that when people behave in such and such manner. Today you can see that there are political campaigning companies or consultancy, that they are existing today. What they do, they observe the psychology of the people, they observe mindset and behavior and voting patterns of the people. After that observation, after collecting that data of the past, they analyze it and accordingly they give new agenda to these political parties. And exactly these political parties understands the crux of the data, and they start promising only those things to the people which they are desiring to have in country. Okay, just imagine how it works. So it's all about what? It's all about, we can say, changing the course of action in the field of political science. Then onward, we all decided, means the field of political science decided to study the behavior of the people, because these are the people who actually influence the decision makers, decision implementers. Okay, because if these people are not going to vote them for so and so policy, the parliament is not going to be formed, the government is not going to be formed, right? So first we have to understand the mentality of the people, behavior of the people, so as to understand the government. Government is what? Eventually it is a byproduct of the actions of the people. So rather than giving more importance to the government, we decided to give more importance to the citizens and their mindset. Okay. And because of this mindset, because of these citizens, many uh, things takes place, many changes takes place. Okay. So that was the overall journey, that how and what kind of study we were having in the past and what we are studying at present. Okay, that was the thing. I hope you are getting the link. Okay, you are understanding what we're discussing about. So, why we're discussing these things in political theory, there is a relevance to it. Because political theory is what? Whatever these philosophers have written so far in their text, like just now I told you about Plato, Aristotle, Machiavelli, John Rawls, or Rousseau, and whatever it is. So, what all these people have done, they have contributed to the field of political science, discipline of political science, through their works, through their books. They wrote various books, they gave their idea, their notion about the state and statecraft, and kept it in front of the people in the form of text and sometimes in verbal dialogue and discussions. Okay. So these are the things which happen over there. So whatever writing was done by these philosophers is also one of the aspect of political theory. Okay, they gave idea and theory. You understand, no? You can take any example. For instance, like many of you are aware of natural sciences like chemistry, physics. So what happened over there? How they made the theories? You must have heard about Newton, right? Newton's third law of motion, which clearly says that every action has equal and opposite reaction, right? Every one of you, right, is aware about it. So whatever he gave it on the basis of few experiments, and those theories are testable. Testable in the sense what? You can test whatever that person is saying whether it is true or not. If Newton is saying that every action has equal and opposite reaction, you can just cross check with it, right? So falsification can be checked. Testability is also there in the theories. So you can cross check. Let's gun, for example. Let's assume if you are having holding gun in your hand, and when you fire a bullet, of course that bullet goes ahead, but the pressure of that bullet, you know, hits back also. So you may understand from this example that whatever these scientists are putting in front of us, they are doing it on the basis of concrete, solid evidences. Okay. Of course, in future it may also be changed. For instance, theory of relativity, Einstein, when he was talking about the gravity. Today we believe even Newton also gave this idea of gravity. You know that you know the story also, that when he was sitting below the the apple tree, he was sitting over there or sleeping over there, and that apple fell down. And when it fell down, then he realized that there is something inside the ground which is pulling all these things downwards, right? Whatever falls, it comes down only. Nothing goes up. Only air and gas goes up definitely, but whichever is a heavy thing, heavy material, that eventually comes down to the earth. And then he gave the idea that there is a gravity. Okay, there is a gravity on the earth, and this gravity is keeping all these elements, all these materialistic things intact on the ground. Even big construction you can see or we can witness that they do not fade away in the air. They are just holding grip on the ground. It is again only because of the gravity. Okay, but it has different connotation, different challenges to that. Different thinkers, different scientists, they have spoken about the gravity also, whether gravity exists or not. There are different challenges, and that is not the discourse of us. We are just taking that for understanding. Okay, so political theory is what? Political theory is something which is written by various philosophers, political philosophers, in their book, and they gave idea of different regimes, different, you can say, states, where you can simply think of the idea of democracy. Someone must have spoken about democracy, and then only it came to be in practice. Or you can take military rule, or you may take, we can say, one party rule, or monarchy, right? Someone must have discussed these things in the beginning, then only we started doing such kind of things. So what it shows clearly that theory plays very crucial role in the society. Number of times we witness one thing, we believe that what we can say, only materialistic things has a structure. For example, if you take the example of building, it can be a square building, right? Equal from every side, or you may have a rounded building, or you may have your car, your bike, right? Everything has a particular structure. It has handle, it has brake, it has clutch, right? It has glasses, everything. So here you can see that yes, structure is there. Okay. However, I'll tell you that structure is not only materialistic. Even ideological structures are also existing. For instance, a religion. For instance, caste. For instance, Indian or American. What these things are? These things are also structures. Okay. When you say that we are Indian, so you are creating that structure. When you talk about any caste, you are creating that structure, because you can just imagine that everyone do not belongs to the same caste, right? Here in India at least, we believe that everyone has different caste, and you know about names of all the castes. I don't want to go into that. The only thing what I'm trying to tell you is that structures are not given only to the materialistic things. Of course, we believe in that because it is visible to us. Like building, building has a structure, and we all believe because it is visible to us openly, right? And very easy to grasp it. However, ideological structures also exist. Someone must have created the idea of caste, no? Before that, there was no caste. Someone came, someone wrote, and then this journey of caste system began in India, or even religion for that matter. You can just imagine that people can do anything in the name of religion. People are ready to support similar like-minded people, right, in the name of caste, religion, gender, whatever it can be. So what it shows, that all people are belonging to a particular structure. Okay, someone would belong to a religion, particular caste, they may have their own structure. Okay, fine. So political theory speaks about that also. Okay, it's not that only materialistic structures we discuss about ideological structures as well. Even George Sabine, in his definition, he says that anything about politics or relevant to politics is political theory. Okay, whatever it is, like let's assume whether you're talking about legislature, whether you're talking about judiciary, or whether you're talking about anything in politics, everything is political theory. Okay, even David Held, he says that a network of concepts and generalizations about political life. He says that there is a particular network of concepts and generalizations. For example, again, I'll take the example of religion, okay, or liberty, for instance. Liberty, equality, justice, fraternity, all these are concepts, and they are generalized concepts. Again, I'll tell you one example of equality. And equality, according to one, would be equal treatment to all, right? Simply, one would say that why should we discriminate amongst the people? No one should be discriminated. Everyone should get equal rights. Okay, everyone should get equal opportunity. That is equality. But this is one opinion. Okay, treating everyone equally is one opinion. On the other hand, other opinion says that no, this is wrong. You cannot treat everyone equally because society inherently is not equal in nature, right now, because you do not have all rich people, you do not have all poor people. There are rich also, there are poor also, there are middle class people also. So inherently they are not equal, right? Naturally or somehow this inequality is created. And if there is inequality, and in that if you are treating them equally, that is real inequality. Okay, so just you can witness, you may say that yes, that is also true. You cannot ignore this point of view as well, right? So you have to understand that one concept called as equality, which is generalized, has multiple meanings, right? Liberty, for instance, just to understand, liberty is also one of the concept in political theory. According to one person, one would say that liberty is something where there are no restrictions, right? And which is correct also, you cannot deny this. When you do not have the restrictions over you, you are free, you have liberty. But the other opinion is altogether contrary to this. Though those people would again say that liberty is not about unlimited freedom. Liberty is something where definitely you have the freedom along with certain reasonable restrictions. Okay, this is also correct argument. For instance, if you are driving a bike or a car in the city and you have got the license to drive the car, it simply doesn't mean that you can drive your car with any limit of speed. You have to maintain the speed in the city or even on the highways also. You must be witnessing that those people who are running faster, they are charged for it. So in short, what I'm trying to tell you here is that your liberty is not unlimited, your freedom is not unlimited. This liberty is having certain reasonable restrictions. Of course, restrictions should be there, but those restrictions also supposed to be reasonable in nature. you understand, right? Reasonable is something where wise decisions are taken, not arbitrary decisions are taken. So in this case, you understood that why restrictions are important, because if liberty is given to all the people, let's assume that if everyone has authority or power to drive with the speed of 100 km per hour in the city, just imagine the speed in the city, and just imagine, will anyone be able to drive the vehicle? It will become just impossible, because everyone will start killing each other with the speed. So it is not practicable decision, right? So that is the reason due to which we cannot give unlimited liberty to anyone, for this reason only. Rather, what we do is we try to give liberty along with certain restrictions. Okay, I hope you understood that. Second aspect of this, I think 15 minutes are remaining, I guess. Do you want to take any question answer session at the beginning, at the end? If you have the questions, then we may stop a few minutes before so that I can address your questions. But if you don't have any question, then we can continue.
Please respond someone.
No, sir. Currently, there are no doubts.
No, no question, sir.
Uh,
Absolutely clear.
okay, fine, fine. Chalo, we will
Bhaskar
continue then.
Chaitanya is there, sir.
Sorry, sir.
Mr. Bhaskar Chaitanya is willing to ask one question.
No, 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 no question, sir. Clear.
Clear, no? Fine.
Yeah,
Chalo,
clear.
no problem. Yeah, we have 15 more minutes, so we will continue for 15 minutes. Okay. So, so far, I hope it is clear to all of you. And now we will move towards the next point. We were discussing about political science and political theory, right? And we were trying to understand and relate these two concepts with each other. And we understood one idea, that all the writings which are done by the political science philosophers or political thinkers, those ideas are incorporated or known as political theory. Okay, because they try to give us different ideas, different we can say perspectives of the ideas. Okay, now when it comes to political philosophy, philosophy is something which is a big and broad category, which doesn't have any, we can say, or which is not needed to have any empirical evidence. Okay, but when it comes to political science, it needs, okay, you need to have it. Just now I gave you the example of Newton's third law of motion. When he is saying that every action has equal and opposite reaction, he has to prove it, right? He has to have empirical data for that, which is testable. Falsification can be checked. That is something important over here. So political philosophy is something, and let me tell you the meaning of philosophy itself. Philosophy is what? Philosophy is all about, the literal meaning of the term philosophy is love for the knowledge. Okay, you should have love for the knowledge. If you have that, you are more likely to become a philosopher, because you would be reading multiple books. You will be trying to gain knowledge, right? And nowadays, you all know that reading book in offline manner is not the only solution nowadays. Even online books are available, right? And it's not only about books. You must be knowing that on various, you can say, platforms, even on YouTube, you would get something called, the digital book, right? So books are available. Stories are told to you on YouTube through videos, or even different applications are there which they provide it. So eventually, from this or that point of view, we are trying to gain the knowledge. Okay, whether you are attending the lecture, right? Whether you are watching any video, or any you are listening to any audio book. Okay, these all are the sources. Okay, which is providing we can say knowledge to you. So this is love for the knowledge. And if you are trying to do so, it means you are trying to become a philosopher. That is what it means. But of course, you need to have that curiosity to know something. You need to have that, we can say, understanding different and opposite viewpoints also, because very few people does that, because like-minded writings can be read by anyone. That is very easy to understand, and we feel pleasant out of that. However, we have to understand the opposite opinion as well, and these philosophers have done the same thing in political science and political theory. Okay, so that is one thing. Second, the word called theory, it is brought from the Greek, Greek city state, theria. Okay, theria means a focused mental look to grasp or understand. It means what? You need to have a focused ability to grasp something or to understand something. And that's what these philosophers did actually. If you are concentrating at one building, okay, let's assume that if there is one building in front of you, okay, and you are watching at that particular building, so you would be watching only whatever is there in front of that building, okay, because you would be standing in front of it, so you may witness only those things. However, that is not the complete reality. That is just one part of the building. You have to roam around all four corners of the building so as to get the complete knowledge, complete data of that building. And this is what we do in political theory. Okay, so we try to understand different aspects, different perspectives. Just to make it easy for you, let's take democracy for instance. Okay, I would say that democracy is the best form of government, and someone else would say that democracy is the worst form of government. Why someone? Even Aristotle himself, he himself has said that democracy is the worst of government, right? Now you have to understand, if he was saying in that manner, why he must have said that. And he is saying that democracy is the good form of government, again we have to understand that why I am saying so. So what we are trying to do here, there is one common concept. Okay, there is one common idea, but there are multiple approaches, which provides different lenses, different angles to the same point. I am also looking at democracy, you are also looking at democracy, and other people are also looking at democracy, but everyone's perspective, approach is altogether different. And how do we get this approach? Through our readings, writings, and second thing, our own experiments. Okay, let's assume for me, let's take this example, like this present government is best for me. Okay, government, again same government is there, but according to me this government is good, but according to someone else this government may not be the best form of government. They would they would want to change this government. Again here you can see that concept is same, government, but opinion is different. So when we study political theory, we have to understand a particular concept in such way. You have to understand the positivity also and negativity also, both the sides. Okay, and that's what the first line you can read: a focused mental look to grasp or understand. Sometimes it is called as it has broader view and narrower view also, because one side you have, we can say, a thinker's entire teaching, all the thinkers who are giving their ideas, that is one side. And opposite to that, explanatory thought, someone else will give different idea. Whatever thinkers were saying, new thinker will come, and that new thinker will simply discard the opinion of the previous thinker. Okay, so again they contradict with each other. and then we start believing that then yes, the last person was wrong, this person is correct. However, that person is also not fully correct. Someone else would come in future, and that person will also give different idea about it. Okay, so this journey continues, and we call, that there is a particular term for that, that is dialectical method or dialectical idealism or materialism. Dialectical in the sense, when you have one idea, it will be contradicted with opposite idea always. Idea A will always claim that I am correct, and idea B would say that no, you are wrong, I am correct. Okay, whereas the reality is that both are not fully correct and both are not fully incorrect. So what we do in this case, we form a new idea out of it. And what would be incorporated in third idea? In this third idea, we will take all the positive aspects of idea A and idea B. Positivity from both the side, we can say good things from both the sides, it will be taken, and a new idea will be created on the basis of these two ideas. So here we have different terms for it. Idea A will be called as thesis, idea B antithesis, because it is opposite to that, and idea C, which is the most purest form, will be called as synthesis. Okay, so thesis, antithesis, and synthesis, and this is how the journey is going around. Okay, you just imagine or just trace the history of this planet, and you will come to know that all ideas have been, they have been going through this journey: thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. Okay, so what we'll do is, we will also discuss about it in detail in upcoming sessions. So I hope this is clear to all of you, and I think only in last 3-4 minutes are left. So at last, if any one of you want to ask anything, you are free to ask.
Any questions, please?
No question, sir. Up to clear.
Very good. Sir really explained the session very well, slowly, point by point. And thank you, sir, on behalf of all the students for the
Yes, thank
wonderful
you.
giving session. And now here we close the recording. And tomorrow also we will join by 5:45 sharply for the next session. With this, I am closing the recording session. Okay.
Yes,
Let us
thank you,
meet
sir.
tomorrow.
Yes, thank you, sir.